The Dominic Carter Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. Now, from New York City to the world, it's Dominic Carter. Breaking news.
And good morning. God help us all. A clean sweep for Mamdami. Mamdami pulls it off again. A clean sweep. He picked nobodies that are reckless and their rhetoric is worse than his. He picked political novices and they all won. His socialist agenda took on the establishment, and Mamdami has emerged victorious. The night started this way per WABC TV here in New York.
4 congressional races are being watched particularly closely. In the 7th, 10th, and 13th districts, Mayor Mamdami has endorsed the Democratic socialist candidates. In 2 of those races, they are challenging Democratic incumbents. So how much influence will the mayor's endorsement have in these races? Another closely watched race is the congressional race in the 12th district, a seat held by retiring Congressman Jerry Nadler.
The number to reach me live this hour, starting right now, 800-848-9222. 2 Democrat incumbents fall to Mamdami-backed nobodies in the world of politics. Adriano Espaillat goes down. Dan Goldman goes down. And retiring Congresswoman Nydia Velázquez will be replaced by another progressive, a progressive who supports Mamdami's Democrat socialist agenda. So a big night for him, and Mamdami has established himself as the clear kingmaker right now. We are looking, folks, remember this night, where you were, what time it is. We are looking at the downfall of the Democrat Party established tonight. What Bernie Sanders started, what AOC started, we are looking at the results right here, right now, in real time. CNN even pointing out the huge win for Mamdami.
And that projection, Abby, means that the mayor, Mamdami, does get a sweep of the 3 races in which he endorsed in Democratic primaries tonight. The Democratic Socialist candidate, Danielisa Avila Chevalier, beating a powerful Democratic, long-standing Democratic incumbent, Adriano Espaillat. Much more narrow race than the other 2 districts here, but this is, again, this is a mayor making a statement. This is a candidate making a statement. You're having the conversation with your panel about we want new, we want different, and yes, we want more liberal. In this particular case, Espaillat is certainly a Democrat and a progressive, but this is part of the generational divide. We've also seen the Democratic Party. We want new, we want younger, but there's 1 for the mayor, there's 2 for the mayor, and there's 3 tonight. So the conversation is going to be, Abby, number 1, how much power does Zoran Mamdami have in New York City politics? Number 2, he's also making some enemies tonight, let's be honest. He's been mayor 6 months, and he's gone against 2 Democratic incumbents and the wishes of the retiring Democratic incumbent in the 3rd district there. But he's making a statement for the city, for the state, and he's also making a statement of where he thinks the Democratic Party should go nationally, both for the next 5 months and into 2028. So as you're discussing with your panel, can you export this? Can you sell what he wants to do in New York City, where his candidates clearly are winning tonight, where he won clearly, convincingly? Can you sell it? Well, he wants to be part of that debate, and tonight he's proving he gets a big role in it.
So what's interesting, I remember when Espaillat took out longtime Harlem Congressman Charles Rangel. It was believed at that time, when Espaillat, now 71, was elected, and he's represented Upper Manhattan and parts of the Bronx since 2017, it was projected that he would have a long career in Congress, just like Charles Rangel. Not to be done. I think Rangel lasted close to 40 years in Congress. Espaillat, who chairs the Congressional Hispanic Caucus, has represented the district in Upper Manhattan, parts of the Bronx since 2017. He is gone. And what's even worse, the nobody that Mamdani picked to run against this lady is, what's the word I'm looking for? Crazy. That's the word I'm looking for. She wants no one in jail. Criminals, mentally ill, no one. Columbia University student, her agenda is as reckless gets. And she is going to be the next congresswoman representing that historic district that was once represented by Adam Clayton Powell. It's now the historic figure Adam Clayton Powell. It was Charlie Rangel that took out Adam Clayton Powell. Then you had Espaillat. It took him a couple of runs to beat Rangel. And now you have a political novice, a nobody in the world of politics. Folks, remember this night. Remember this time, the destruction, the beginning of the end of the Democrat Party. 800-848-9222. Brad Lander defeating Goldman. Goldman dealing with the incident where he was told don't come back to a coffee shop in Brooklyn because he supports Israel. We're going to get to that in just a moment. And as a matter of fact, there's a protest set for that coffee shop. They should be shut down. How do you tell a sitting member of Congress that he was going to lose, and he did lose, all because he supports Israel? His daughter had to go to the bathroom. You let her go to the bathroom, and then you refund him his money on social media and tell him, a member of Congress who happens to be Jewish, that he's not welcomed. And you're proud of this. 800-848-9222. Brad Lander, the one-time New York City controller. His politics is going left, right? He literally kissed Mamdani's backside during Mamdani's run for mayor. Lander was a candidate for mayor and then got behind Mamdani, and the political payback, Mamdani endorses Brad Lander, and now Lander will be the next congressman. You have to understand, folks, you win tonight. 99 times out of 100, you are the next member of Congress. So the general election, for all intents purposes, is tonight, is right now. Brad Lander appeared on CNN as his race was called.
Brad Lander, we came on the air just a couple of minutes ago as the numbers were still coming in your race. I'm going to do something a little unusual here, so I want you to bear with me. Not many candidates are on CNN when they hear this music. But we do have breaking news, and we can now project that Brad Lander will defeat the incumbent Congressman Dan Goldman in the Democratic primary for New York's 10th congressional district. And, sir, obviously, since we have you here live on air as we are making this call, what is your first reaction to this?
Well, thank you. First of all, obviously, I'm thrilled. I did not expect to be on air when the race was called. Look, I love Election Day. I like the voters get to go out and cast their ballots and say, here's who we want to represent us. These are the fights that matter to us. And all I can say is I promise to go out every single day and fight for my constituents and the values that they have, because we need a country that stands up for working people. It doesn't make it so hard to live here. I'll be fighting for a city everyone can afford and where everyone is welcome. And I'm really honored to be on your show tonight.
Depending.
Brad Lander defeating Dan Goldman, and it wasn't even close. Let's start with your telephone calls. Line 2, Frank, Staten Island. Good morning, Frank. What's on your mind?
Hi, good morning. This is terrible. I'm calling from Staten Island. I did vote in the Democrat thing. I voted for the people I believe are okay, but the moderates, the good people, the sensible Democrats, whatever, and I vote Republican a lot too. But what I see now with these candidates, with these socialist ones, is just horrible. They're not going to help the people. They're not going to create affordability. It's all a sham. It's all a fraud. They could say a lot of things, but it's going to be more anti-Semitism, more taxes, more apartments instead of actual houses being built. They want to turn New York into like Moscow, It's just like a horrible situation. Esplanade should have been able to win. He didn't win. Goldman lost because he supported Israel. I support Israel, but the voters don't. The voters are young people with nose rings and tattoos and beards, and they hate Israel. It's the stupid voters, and I hate these voters.
Well, Frank, I wasn't going to use those terms, but, a spade is a spade. These are voters that are not too bright. And I don't mean to insult the electorate, but it is dangerous. It is reckless, the times that we live in right now, because socialists, they got the game down. They know to come in with this far left agenda as possible. No jail for anybody. We're going to give you $1 million. They'll tell you anything. And these morons go for it. They vote for them. And what Mamdani has done tonight, Mamdani is saying right now, how do you like me now? And what he's saying, frankly, to people like me, he's saying, Dominic, so I'm a one-term mayor, huh? How do you like me now, Dominic? And guess what, Mamdani? You have won tonight, and I have lost. Because all of that one-term talk stuff, I've got to reevaluate now. Mamdani, whether I like it or not, and I do not like it, Mamdani has shown himself to be a kingmaker tonight. Mamdani took 3 nobodies and got them elected. There's no other way to put it. And not just nobodies, people with this reckless a record and a reckless an agenda that you can come up with. And he said, I don't care. Watch my magic. They will be elected. And that is exactly what happened. Artie, line 1, Nutley, New Jersey. What's on your mind, Artie?
Yeah, Dominic, I have a lot of friends, like liberal women, conservative men, that tell me that Rama Mamdani is a beautiful woman. And I just don't see it. Now, notice, it's like, I don't know if man to man, maybe you can tell me, maybe it's like my judgment is clouded based on the fact that
she goes by a different last name, but go ahead, Artie.
Okay,
talking about the city's first lady.
Yes. And what I'm saying is maybe my judgment is clouded because she makes me sick as a person, and I'm not seeing.
Well, welcome to the club.
People tell me she's so pretty. I mean, it's like, I don't see it. It's like when they say AOC's pretty, it's like AOC's she's like a dummy.
Right, but so, Artie, what does this have to do with election results? You're talking about beauty of women, which is sexist. What does this have to do with election results?
All right, I'm sorry. It is. I was listening to you earlier, and you were talking about her, and I just felt like, now I had the time to call you.
Okay, fair enough. Thank you for the call, Artie. 800-848-9222. We are coming right back.
It's Dominic Carter. The Dominic Carter Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. Now, from New York City to the world, it's Dominic Carter.
And Sean Hannity on his television program just a short time ago.
All right, this is a Fox News Alert. Incumbent Congressman Dan Goldman, who was just banned from a New York City coffee shop because of his support for Israel. He has now lost his primary to a radical socialist backed by Mamdani. It appears that, a pretty scary transformation is now fully underway in the Democratic Party, especially in a blue state like New York.
So here's the bottom line, folks. Mamdani is a kingmaker now nationally. If you're a traditional Democrat, Mamdani is going to say to them privately, either you get with my program or you see what happened to Espaillat. You see what happened to Dan Goldman. And these traditional Democrats are going to buckle. This is now Mamdani's world, and we just live in it. He picked 3 nobodies that are as reckless gets, and they won. And if you thought that we were done with the problem of the squad, guess what? It's been just rejuvenated because now they're going to have younger blood, new names. The squad is back. I don't say this lightly. I wish I didn't have to say it, but it's the times that we live in. Let's go to Ray, line 1 in Queens. Ray, good morning. What's on your mind?
Good morning, Dominic.
Go right ahead, please.
Obviously, these elections show a changing attitude regarding the Muslim-Jewish conflicts, but I think even more so, it shows that the growing gap between rich and poor has a lot to do with this. I don't think Elon Musk becoming a trillionaire is boding well for the support of capitalism these days. I don't think that's the idea. Adam Smith is turning over in his grave. And what Bernie Sanders used to campaign on, I think, is coming home to roost now.
Right. Well, the bottom line is this. They'll promise you the world, these new socialists, and deliver on de nada, nothing. You will get nothing for them. How well has it worked out with Mamdani thus far? What has he delivered on? Nothing. Talks a good game, says a good game, delivers on nothing. And the electorate is so naive. Maybe that's the word, the best word without offending people. The electorate is so naive where you have people in urban America that will vote for this nonsense. And I don't say this lightly. As a matter of fact, it makes me want to throw up. Mamdani is the new kingmaker. And I will now have to reevaluate when I said he will be a one-term mayor. Because he's sitting back right now with his anti-Semitic wife at his taxpayer-funded mansion, Gracie Mansion, and he's saying right now, how do you like me now? Because you will bend and kiss his ring, or he will run somebody against you, campaign for that person if you're a Democrat, and you will lose based on tonight's results. Let's go to Josh, line 4, Manhattan. Josh, good morning. What's on your mind?
Hey, good morning. Okay, get to the root of the problem. The root of the problem is young people don't see a viable future. Okay, not making enough money, rent's too high. And don't give me the nonsense that government never works. It works very well when it wants to. After World War II, when the GIs came home, there was a GI Bill, made sure that at least white soldiers could live decently. They got low mortgages. They were able to, there was rent control. When the government wants to work, it can work. And young people know that. Get with it. Get up, wake up. You're half
No.
right.
You're saying free, Josh, and that's ridiculous. Free is never going to work. Mamdani is pimping. That's the best way I can put it, America. But right now, his pimping is working, and we are losing. We're coming right back.
The Dominic Carter Show. Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Now, from New York City to the world, it's Dominic Carter.
And a big night for socialism, a big victory tonight for New York City Mayor Mamdani, a clean sweep. He picked a bunch of nobodies to run against established candidates, and he won in every single race. And if you think that Mamdani is reckless with his rhetoric, wait until you find out more about the next woman going to Congress. Now, yes, she just won the primary, but you win the Democrat primary in blue cities, you're the actual elected official. It's just a matter of time. The woman that defeated Adriano Espaillat, right, a stronghold, traditional Democrat, when you hear some of her politics, some of her ideas, you're going to put your head in the ground like an ostrich and feel that you have a headache. Wait until you hear this lady. And guess what, folks? We're going from bad to worse. Now, here's the good news. Here's the good news. There is a silver lining, perhaps. If you're a Republican and you're running in a district that's not blue, then you'd love to run against one of these guys or ladies. But if you're running in a blue district, and you're up against one of these folks, you are going to lose. So, for example, and I never, ever, 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 ever thought I would say this, but guess who's now back in play to run for president, at least for the nomination on the Democratic side? Your number one bartender, AOC. She is back in the running, back in the contention. I tell you the way it is, straight, no chaser. It is what it is. AOC, where the elevator does not go to the top floor. Based on these numbers, based on tonight's outing. Now remember, these would be Democrat primaries. She'd be blown out in the general election. It would be another Kamala, but in the primary, AOC is now back. She is a contender. Cannot believe I'm saying this. For the presidency of the United States of America. If you can pick up, remember, she started out as a nobody and beat Joe Crowley, right? He thought she was a joke. Well, she's now the congresswoman, and he's not in Congress anymore. Back to your telephone calls. Line 5, Teddy in Yonkers. Good morning, Teddy.
Dominic, I am so upset. In Judaism, the prayer for the dead is the mourner's Kaddish. I'm saying the mourner's Kaddish for the Democratic Party. They are dead. Dead, dead, dead. I am so upset. And even though I disagreed with Goldman on certain topics, him being denied what happened in the coffee shop is outrageous. And I hope there is a protest like what you just said to shut it down. Dominic, does the Republicans have any chance in the state of New York? Does Blakeman have a better chance or a worse chance of winning against Hochul in November?
Well, that's a great question, Teddy. One, your sentiment as it relates to the Democrat Party, that's the way it stands right now. It all depends on who votes. It all depends on whether King Mamdani, and I mean literally kingmaker, I'm not being sarcastic right now. If kingmaker Mamdani gives Hochul a warm endorsement, game over. Now, Blakeman will carry Republican upstate and do quite well. He's no one to sleep on. But the problem is downstate, New York City. If Mamdani issues a call to his people to turn out, Hochul will get the numbers and Blakeman won't have much of a shot. But if Mamdani wants her to lose and Blakeman can energize his base upstate and in Nassau and Suffolk counties, then that's a different ball game. But right now, Teddy, and thank you for the call, Teddy, there is a protest set for between 9 a.m., 11 a.m. Eastern time outside that coffee shop in Brooklyn that greatly offended the current congressman that lost tonight, Dan Goldman. In terms of his daughter had to go to the bathroom. They let her go to the bathroom. We're going to get into that in just 1 second. But I want you to listen to Republican consultant Scott Jennings on CNN a short time ago.
Fascinated by the Goldman-Lander primary. I agree with you. I think Dan's going to lose. I don't agree with much of anything he's done in Congress, but I'm surprised you sort of glossed over the main issue in this race, which is Israel. I mean, Dan Goldman is a congressman, and he's Jewish, and he went into a coffee shop this weekend in Brooklyn, and they said, you're not welcome here anymore. Brad Lander is out speaking in mosques, telling those people that he'd like to go align himself with Ilhan Omar and the rest of the squad. Dan Goldman's only sin, I guess, is that he thinks Israel has a right to exist. And for that, that has been the principal issue in this. And you've got the mayor of New York City, Mamdani, out saying about AIPAC and Jewish Americans who have participated in our politics that they are, quote, monsters. What is happening right now in New York City, the Democrat socialist takeover of the Democratic Party, should frighten not just Jewish Americans, but all Americans everywhere, because this is the direction the Democrats are headed nationally. Look what's happening in Michigan, and it is frightening. Throwing Democrat Jewish congressmen out of coffee shops in Brooklyn, New York, it's not 1930s Germany. This is the United States of America.
And that situation with Congressman Goldman, who lost tonight, and it wasn't even close. He appeared on CNN last night. We see all your telephone calls. This is really important. I cannot believe this is happening in 2026 in New York City. As I said earlier, if an African American went to a coffee shop in Brooklyn and there was a sign up or the person was told, we don't serve black people here, that coffee shop would be shut down within 24 hours. Why is this coffee shop still open? The congressman went in there with his daughter, right? So let me give you a small example. I try not to make everything racial. I had a similar problem with my son as he was growing up. I would say to him, Dominic, you're a large man of color. And son, you have to go to the bathroom before we leave, because if you have to go to one of these restaurants, they're not going to just want to let you use their restaurant. And sure enough, it happened. I'm not going to say the name of the restaurant, but the mayor of New York City was Bloomberg at the time. And my son had to go to the restroom, and the restaurant told him no, which set me on fire. So I said, okay. I reached out to the mayor directly. I said, Mr. Mayor Bloomberg, privately, back channel. Mayor Bloomberg, I believe that this was racism for why they didn't let my son use the bathroom. And he didn't say these terms, but essentially Bloomberg said, I got you, Dominic. I had a great relationship with Bloomberg over the years. Within a matter of 24 hours, the Bloomberg administration had undercovers, I'm not going to say the name of the restaurant, going into sting operations, going into this establishment to see if people of color were denied the right to use their restroom. Simply because I reached out to the mayor back channel. And so now we have a sitting member of Congress where he goes with his daughter for the bathroom. They let her use the restroom, and then this situation occurred. I mentioned Dan Goldman, who lost tonight. He appeared on CNN. I want you to hear how this has all played out.
Congressman Dan Goldman stopped in Poetica Coffee in Brooklyn on Sunday with his 7-year-old daughter, who used the restroom. He said they were so kind that he bought a coffee. Afterwards, Poetica's social media account posted a picture of Goldman at the cashier counter with this message. Hey, Rep. Goldman, we see that you stopped by our shop today for a coffee. Do you see how it doesn't taste like genocide juice, or are you still having a hard time telling the difference? See, here at Poetica, we don't serve racists, fascists, homophobes, genocide enablers, or anyone in between. Too bad we didn't recognize you right away, or we would have turned you away. We issued you a refund. We don't need your money. It's probably coming from AIPAC anyways. Enjoy your loss on Tuesday. Don't ever come to Poetica. Now, that post has since been taken down, but the congressman did respond on social media. He said, I'm sorry to see this post. The barista could not have been nicer to my 7-year-old daughter and me, allowing her to use the bathroom even though we had not purchased anything. I made sure to buy a coffee in return for her kindness. I hope you at least make sure she gets the tip that she deserved. Last night, he spoke to CNN's Laura Coates.
It's a reflection, I think, of a sad state of affairs that without knowing me, we could have had such a nice interaction. Two people, obviously from different backgrounds, different faiths, but that's what America is. And that's what New York City is. That is what I believe in. I am a strong proponent of equal rights, of civil rights, of human rights. And what is going on in the Middle East is horrific. And the idea of accusing someone who you don't know of, supporting a genocide. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. Now, I may disagree as to whether or not there's a genocide, but come on, we're better than this, and we need to be better than this, and we have to stop dividing.
What do you say to those who look at what's happening in Washington, D.C., and look at what's happening in the Middle East, who say that they have a vested interest in both, and equate the policies of Netanyahu with you?
Well, that's exactly the fundamental problem because, and first of all, I've been very openly opposed to this Israeli government. But just like Donald Trump is not synonymous with the United States, Prime Minister Netanyahu and the Israeli government is not synonymous with the country and state of Israel. I think it's really dangerous when people start conflating the actions of the Israeli government with American Jews who have absolutely nothing to do with what is going on in Israel. And the rise in anti-Semitism because of what is happening in the Middle East here in the United States is really dangerous, and it is escalating significantly.
CNN has reached out to Poetica for comment. Goldman's challenger, Brad Lander, who has accused Israel of genocide, has condemned the coffee shop.
So Lander has won. Goldman lost. It wasn't even close. I'm looking at my Twitter at my ex. Enrico Palazzo says at Dominic TV, get ready for Hochul, that is the governor of New York State, to totally embrace this New York City dumpster fire. She will bow to Mamdani. Hashtag fair weathered friend. Well, you know what, Enrico, you're making a good point because if you're Hochul and the goal of any politician is to get reelected, Hochul and other traditional Democrats right now are shaking in their boots, and she's going, uh-oh. If I stand up to Mamdani, I will have the same fate as Goldman. I will have the same fate as Adriano Espaillat. I'm not going to cut my own throat politically. So you may be correct, Enrico. Dominic Carter here with you, folks. Let's continue with your telephone calls. Line 2, Cliff in Manhattan. Cliff, good morning.
Yes. Hi, Dominic. Good morning. Look, I've been a Republican for about 8 years. I'm 35 years old, and I'm very disappointed in the way that the Republicans have conducted themselves against the socialist Democrats or democratic socialists, whatever you want to call them. They have to go after these people full force.
Okay, wait a minute. You said the way Republicans have reacted to them?
They don't do anything.
Okay, wait, Cliff, wait a minute. What are Republicans going to do in a Democrat primary?
No. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about in general.
Cliff, you have to be, maybe you don't understand politics. Republicans have zero say in a Democrat primary. What could they do?
I'm not talking about a Democrat primary, Dominic.
The only time Republicans can get involved is after the primary. You wouldn't raise your potential opponent that has no chance of winning. Cliff, do you understand what you're saying?
What I'm saying is a third of the city are at a minimum registered voters. There are a fair number of Republicans out there. There are people who are midway. They don't know which way, liberals. You have to give them the facts instead of the giveaway program. Give them something that affects them.
Cliff, I respect you. Do you really think that Republicans will be able to compete with a candidate that's promising free on everything? Do you really think Republicans in a Democrat city like New York will be able to compete with that?
No, but they can use simple psychology to wake up the voters who need
these people are stuck on stupid, Cliff. You're not going to wake them up. They're waiting for their freebie.
That's not fair.
Cliff, what do you mean it's not fair? It's the reality.
I woke up at 27. I said I had enough of this Democratic BS. I woke up.
Do you think these urban voters are going to do what you did? Do you really think that's possible, Cliff?
It's very possible. It worked with me and some of my friends. We woke
Cliff,
up.
You got a chance in hell of that happening. Thank you for the telephone call. Time for a break. We're coming right back.
The Dominic Carter Show. Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Now, from New York City to the world, it's Dominic Carter.
Folks, here's the bottom line. if you think the electorate is going to pay attention to you, I, or traditional Democrats, this is what I just tried to say to the last caller. Then wake up. The person that just beat Adriano Espaillat, right? There was a time when it was almost impossible that you would beat a traditional Democrat in Congress. They'd hold on to the seat for years. So this is a woman that wants to abolish police, prisons, borders, seize private property, nationalize major industries, calling into question Israel's right to exist. That's her just the beginning. So now we're going to have, thank you very much, electorate, we're going to have a squad 2.0. Just when I thought they were on life support and on the way out, we're going to have a squad 2.0. Guess who was on TV tonight? Jamal Bowman, who lost his race, a member of the squad. You know, the guy that pulled the fire alarm in the vote? He's on television tonight with renewed energy, fresh blood. And he should have fresh blood because his boy, Mamdami, delivered big time. Let's continue with your telephone call. Simon, line 2 in Brooklyn. Simon, good morning. What's on your mind?
Dominic, yes, it's getting to reality. We're like a little bit doomed here. I think it's serious stuff over here. We have a big problem. Look what happened to Congressman Goldman. He was more or less on the left side. He was more of a moderate. On the Democrat side, he was basically called out by his Jewish hate. I think it's more than we think. It's about us versus them, and it's scary. It's getting scary, and I think we really have to think into it. And I think the Democrats like Fetterman, he's great, and even the other ones who are pretty good out there they're going to basically get separated from this whole group. It's not going to work. We're all going to be together again. I think the Democrat Party is going to be split.
The Democrat Party is on the way out. That's the point I tried to make earlier today. Simon, thank you for the great telephone call. Jerry in Pennsylvania, line 5. Jerry, good morning.
Good morning, Dominic. I just want to make a couple of quick points.
One point, and it has to be quick. I have too many calls, 3 minutes left to the show. Go ahead.
Sure. The Socialist Democratic Party actually has a chance of winning general elections because inflation is so pervasive across the board. Look, we're looking at it where homeowners
winning general elections where they're normal people, normal voters, and not just overwhelmingly blue? Are you serious, Jerry?
Yes, because where inflation is worse than we're thinking, because homeowners and stock owners have weathered this inflation beautifully, basically. We hear about it. We see the prices go up, but we have equity going up. We have equity in stocks and equity in our homes going up. The other half of our society does not. They're being
I hear you. Let me squeeze in one more call. Line 1, Joel in Florida. Sorry to cut you off. Joel, you got 25 seconds. Go ahead.
Okay, I'll make it very quickly. What we had in the 1930s in Nazi Germany, Hitler was elected. There you have people being elected. What's the difference between National Socialism and the socialism that's coming in now?
Well, I can only deal with the here and now, Joel. Thank you for that telephone call. And the here and now is downright scary. I told you folks that Mamdami was a one-term mayor. Just within the snap of a finger, I'm forced to reevaluate that now because he has established himself with all his anti-Semitism, with all the anti-Semitism of his wife. Mamdami has established himself tonight as a kingmaker. He proved his point. He picked 3 nobodies and beat somebodies in every single race. I'm back 3 p.m. Eastern.
Thanks for listening to The Dominic Carter Show. You can hear The Dominic Carter Show weekdays at 3 p.m. and Monday through Thursday at midnight and Sunday starting at 11 p.m. on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?